guys, in this video I'm going to be recommending some cameras for content creators, and with Amazon Prime Day just around the corner, it's going to be on the 12th and the 13th of July, you might be able to find some of these suggestions on a discount during Prime Day. Now, what I'm going to start off with is the Nikon Z30. This camera is not out yet, but it is coming out on the 31st of July. It's the brother to the Nikon Z50, but unlike the Z50, it does not actually have an eyepiece. It does not have an electronic viewfinder. So with this one, you compose your image using the back of the screen, and it is geared towards content creators. So it comes with an accessory kit that involves a tripod, mini tripod. It involves a remote control and also a microphone. So it's really been geared towards people who are going to be creating content online. And I think with this one, because all of the components have been chosen by Nikon to be compatible with the camera, you'll have no problems either with compatibility or suitability or safety. So I'm going to recommend this one, even though it's not out yet. I'll have a link in the description to this camera. It has the same sensor as the Z50, and that is a really good sensor, much more powerful than a typical smartphone sensor. So I'm going to have a link to this. All the links are going to be affiliate links, so it does help the channel if you use those, if you're interested in the product. I suspect it won't be on offer, but if it is, we might actually have a decent discount. The accessory kit is going to be $150. It's not yet available on Amazon. As soon as it is, I'll try to update the description. The next camera I'm going to recommend is the Sony Alpha ZV-E10. And that's the Sony Alpha ZV-E10. This is another APS camera. So it has, even though it looks like a fairly small camera, it has a really large sensor, just like the Nikon Z30. And it comes with a decent lens as well. Now, this one does also come with an accessory kit. And on Amazon, you can purchase it with the accessory kit even now. You can purchase it on its own, and you can purchase the accessory kit separately. But with the accessory kit, it comes in at $800. Very reasonable. It's another camera that doesn't have an optical viewfinder, but it has been specially designed for content creators. So it has got the selfie screen, just like the Z30, a screen that you can actually point at yourself whilst capturing your vlog or your image. And it has got obviously features like touch screen, which allow you to operate it quite easily. Now this one is tiny. It comes in at 350 grams, even with the battery involved. So that is extremely small, and they've designed this to be very compact, but it does have most of the features that you'll find in the other Sony APS-C cameras. Now, the lenses for this camera are compatible with the larger full frame cameras, so you'll have access to a huge number of different lenses that you can use. The accessory kit is also pretty good for what you need. It has got Bluetooth. Maybe it's not quite as flexible as some of the other tripods that we've seen, but nonetheless, I think it is very geared towards content creators as well. Now, the next recommendation is the Panasonic Lumix G7. Now, this version here comes with a two-tone design, which is really nice, and it has a kind of a leathery look as well. It's a small camera. It is in between. The sensor is what's known as a micro four thirds sensor. It's an earlier cousin to the APS-C sensors that we're seeing with the Sony ZV and the Nikon Z30. The sensor size is a bit smaller. However, it makes for a somewhat more compact design. This camera here has got better image quality than your typical smartphone, and maybe not quite as much quality as the APS-C cameras that we've seen so far. It does have image stabilization, and it's got a pretty nice looking design with lots of tactile buttons as well. Now, the other two cameras that we've looked at do have built-in microphones, and this bad boy does have a stereo microphone built in as well. Maybe not quite as geared towards the content creator as the other two. This camera came out before the other two, several years before the other two, and its claim to fame was that it was one of the first to provide 4K video. It has, of course, interchangeable lenses, so you can use it with a wide variety of lenses. And on Amazon, there is actually a variety. Another version, a black version, which comes with 2 lenses, and that one comes in at $700. It comes with the 14 to 42 millimeter lens, and the cousin lens, the 45 to 150 millimeter. So the price is a lot less than the other two, than the other ones we looked at so far. It does not come with an accessory kit, but I'm going to be showing you some accessories that you could use in terms of mini tripods and also microphone. It does have everything that you need for content creation. So it will come with a mic jack that you can use to record microphone, to record audio, and it also comes with HDMI as well. So very good camera from Panasonic. The Micro Four Thirds line has a huge range of lenses that you can use, not just lenses from Panasonic but also from the old Olympus cameras. So it's an adaptable framework, and it's one that tends to produce very small cameras, very tiny compact cameras, but ones which are very powerful. Now Panasonic offer you many opportunities to upgrade this to a more powerful model if you want, and alongside with the flexibility on lenses, that means it's actually quite a powerful little package, quite a little powerful platform. Now the next camera I'm going to recommend is the Nikon Z6 Mark II. This belongs to the same Z family as the Z30. However, it is a full frame camera, and it actually comes in at $2,500. Now the one I've chosen is $2,500. $2,500. It's $2,500. This guy comes. I've paired it with a very high quality lens, the Nikon Z 24 to 70 millimeter f4. Now this is one of their S-line cameras, and that's one of their high-end cameras. So one of the claims to fame for this camera is that it does use a larger sensor. It is limited to 24 megapixels, which is still fairly manageable. It's not going to take a lot of time to process those files, but it does come with professional features, like for instance it is weather sealed. So the S-line lenses are the ones that are more professional. There are some cheaper lenses that you can use, high quality but still quite a lot cheaper than the S-line. And the body and the S-line lenses, those are going to give you some weatherproofing. So this is really geared more towards the professional photographer. It has got twice as much processing power as the Z30 that we saw earlier. Of course, an excellent eyepiece. It's an OLED eyepiece. Now, this guy here does not really count as a selfie camera. It doesn't have anything selfie related. You've got a nice OLED eyepiece, a viewfinder, but electronic viewfinder. But when it comes to the touch screen, it does not in any way, shape or form flip around to actually allow you to see things in selfie mode. So it's really geared more towards the professional photographer who wants to get very good, high quality professional video or high quality professional photographs. Now the Z6 on its own, the Z6 Mark II on its own is $2,000. This is the Z7 Mark II. This one came out around the same time. On its own, just the camera body, it basically costs about $3,000. It has got a 45 megapixel sensor, and most of that increase in price, about $1,000, is due to that extra megapixel count. So quite a lot of the time when you are purchasing cameras up until this about $2,500, $3,000 range, a lot of what you're paying for is the size of the sensor and the megapixels. Now in this case we also have some weather sealing, which you don't find in cheaper cameras, and we've got things like the more powerful processor as well that needs to be there for the larger image sizes and the higher image quality. You gotta have more processing power to tackle those, but most of the time we're actually just getting more megapixels and the larger sensor. The larger sensor is better for capturing in low light conditions, and the Nikon Z has the largest mount. That hole that you see there, that's the largest hole that you find in any of the full frame cameras. That means it captures more light, and that means Nikon Z, that lineup, probably has got the best image quality of any camera in this typical professional full frame market. Now, the main thing that you're getting, like I say, is the extra megapixels. I think for most people the Z6 is probably going to be a better option, but if you do want the 45 megapixel count for this guy here, it does give you much sharper images than the Z6. That's the one for you, the Z7. Now, both the Z6 and the Z7 also, they're professional cameras really, and they're probably going to be the most professional cameras that we look at in this range. These guys, you can get Nikon professional services alongside them, and that's basically something that will allow you to get extra repair speed, extra care and support, basically, if your business relies on your photography. That's something to bear in mind. Nikon has this, I think Canon have this as well. Lenses, one of the main factors in choosing one of those professional cameras is the lenses. The lenses are amazing. Nikon has been around for a long time. The DSLR line, which you can access with the Z line using an adapter. The adapter costs $250. The DSLR line has got more than 200 lenses. So if you need to do professional work with specialist lenses, you can do that with the adapter. The mirrorless line has got far fewer lenses. Now, the mirrorless cameras actually weren't around until 2019, 2018. So Nikon have come a really long way. They've got 33 lenses with the Z mirrorless cameras. And what we're seeing here are the DX lenses. The DX lenses are the ones that fit with the Z30 and the Z50. They're the ones that go with the smaller cameras, and they take an image which is somewhat cropped compared to the larger cameras, larger lenses, which are designed for the full frame cameras. Now, you can use all the Z lenses with all the Z cameras, so it doesn't matter in the end, but you'll get a different type of image if you mix and match the lenses. There is another DX lens which is available, which I think is the DX. There's one silver one for a special type of camera that they came out with last year or a couple of years ago. There's the standard black one at $300. There's the 18 to 140 millimeter one. This will be an ideal one for use with the Z30 if you're going to use it as a standalone camera, not for vlogging, just for taking the camera out and doing whatever type of photography. That range from 18 to 140 millimeters will cover most things that you want to capture with that camera. They do have another one as well, another DX lens. This is the guy here. This is the DX50 to 250 millimeters, and this is one which allows you to zoom out quite some distance. Unfortunately, the f settings are 4.5 to 6.3, which is not spectacularly good. Now, with the Z7, Z6, you can pair them well with some of these other lenses that we're looking at here, the S-line lenses. Two that I would probably strongly recommend would be, let's see, this guy here, the 70 to 200 millimeter, would go very well with the other lens that we were looking at for the Z6. It's an f2.8, very high quality, but it does cost $2,600. Will give you anything that you need, from portrait lenses, even all the way to wildlife, to large wildlife capture. This is another really nice one. This is a portrait lens at 85 millimeters. It's an f1.8, another S line. So you'll have some, resistance to liquid and dust. $800. These two would be very good starting points with the Z7 and the Z6 if you wanted to do professional photography. The next recommendation is the Canon EOS M50 Mark II. This is the content creator kit version, and this one comes with the Canon EOS M50, which is a pretty decent APS-C camera. Again, you've got the interchangeable lenses. This one gives you access to a fairly small number of mount lenses. It is pretty nicely priced at $899-900, including the accessory kit. Now, the accessory kit is pretty impressive. You've got the remote, you've got the tripod, and you've also got the microphone. Now, again, I do like the fact that all of these are chosen by Canon. You can find some third-party bundles where they put a whole bunch of things in, and some of those I really don't like. I really don't like the accessories that they include in the bundles. I do much prefer going with the manufacturer's accessory kit. Now, with all of these cameras, what you need, there are three components. One component is the camera, the second component is the lens, and the third component is the battery. Now, I definitely do not want to put you off purchasing third-party lenses. It's just that some of the accessories, like the tripods that you find on Amazon with some of the third-party accessory kits, they can be really manky, and they're not the kind of tripods I would recommend, even for use with small cameras like this. But in any case, I will link to some accessories that I recommend. This one, I would get into trouble if I didn't mention this one. It is a pretty decent entry-level APS-C. What we find with the Canon cameras is they are not quite the same quality, perhaps in terms of image quality. They're not quite the same as the Nikon or the Sony cameras, but they do have excellent autofocus. The lens lineup is fairly limited. You can get an adapter that allows you to use some of the older lenses from the Sony lineup. It's only $100, and if you want to do some more serious photography, you can use that. And let us take a look at what you get with the accessory kit. So the accessory kit is really what this camera is all about. It allows you to take a microphone, you can get the tripod, everything handheld, and you can use that in your content creation. One of the things that you can do with this tripod is that you can go into vertical, and within that vertical orientation you could take excellent video for platforms where the content is, I think even YouTube Shorts now is vertical format. So if you wanted to do vertical format, you can use the tripod in vertical format. And I think what Canon are trying to do here, they're trying to target a particular segment of the market using this packaging where you've got everything in one kit. Well, this one here in particular is, you can use it with Zoom. You can connect online and use this as your Zoom camera. And with that little tripod there, it's not going to be painful to use it in that way. One thing, at $899, I think it's a little bit, it has been less than that in the past, and I would be crossing my fingers and hoping that this is one that maybe will be on reduction during Amazon Prime. If they do go on discount, the discounts will probably be around for probably 4 hours rather than days. So keep an eye out. Just check regularly to see what's happening with the prices. Now, the next recommendation is actually going to be for a tripod. It's very easy to go very, very wrong when it comes to tripods. You can buy some really cheap and nasty tripods that are absolutely not suitable for use with high-end equipment. This one here is the Manfrotto 290 Xtra Aluminium. This guy here comes in at $200, and for that you're getting the tripod, the three-legged object, and you're getting the head as well. So all of these high-end tripods, they will have a head that you can remove, and they'll have the legs. The legs in this case can fold up to a fairly slim, short design, and the head itself is actually a three-way head. So it has 3 levers that you use to spin things around in 3 dimensions. It's a little bit difficult to use, but you can control with precision where the camera is pointed. The tripod itself, it doesn't weigh too much, it doesn't weigh too little. You don't want a very light tripod because it might not hold the weight of your camera. This one comes with the one I'm actually linking to here, comes with an extra, there's what's known as a quick plate, quick release plate. The quick release plate, you'll find it on high-end tripods. It allows you to attach a camera, and then it will snap into place on top of the head, and you can easily change the camera. You can easily, this one you have 2, so you can if you've got two cameras, you can place them each on its quick release plate and then swap around the cameras as and when you need to. There are other varieties. You can get different varieties even here. So if you go for the ball head one, that will give you a different head. The cost is going to be around the same, and you can actually buy the heads separately. So let's take a look at what happens when you purchase the head separately. Definitely take a look at these on Amazon Prime Day, and also if you missed Amazon Prime Day, in the few days after Amazon Prime Day, you'll find discounts continuing. So do take a look to see if there are any discounts. This is a close-up of the ball head tripod. The little head, the little ball, allows you to rotate the head in every single direction. And with the mounting with the quick release plate tightly in place, the camera is not going to fall or do anything silly. So with these guys, you can have tremendous freedom, and the heads take a bit of time to remove and to attach, but that's by design. This one is $174. They can be a little bit expensive, but I wanted to also demonstrate that you can get heads. This one here is a 2-lever head, and it costs just $50. Manfrotto is a name to look for, especially during Amazon Prime Day. But definitely getting high quality tripods is an absolute must when you're purchasing equipment, when you're purchasing accessories for your camera. And talking of cameras, the next camera I'm going to recommend is the Sony Alpha 7 Mark IV. This is another full frame camera. Comes from Sony, and it is one of their high-end cameras. The cost is $2,698, and this is with the standard 28 to 70 millimeter lens. Pretty decent lens, nothing to complain about. However, they do have a much higher quality 24 to 70 millimeter, which will cost a couple of thousand more than the other lens. But I'm going to link to this guy here, the one with the entry-level lens, and that's going to be $2,700. It is another full frame camera. The full frame camera sensors are about twice the size of the APS-C sensors, and it has got, obviously it's Sony, so you know it's going to be pretty good quality. It has got a nice flip out design, so you can actually use this camera with the selfie design. You can use the display in selfie mode. That makes it more practical, maybe if you're doing vlogging and you need to record yourself with a very high quality camera. Because it is full frame, you'll be able to get much better background blur. Not necessarily with this particular lens, the kit lens. This one is going to be 5.6 at the long end. You'd want to get a prime lens, which allows you to go maybe a little bit wide perhaps, and have a very wide aperture. So if you wanted to blur the background, you do need to go for something with a wide aperture like the f1.4. It has the same type of characteristics as the Nikon cameras that we were looking at before. Similar quality, but as you can see from the marketing, there is nothing, there's no rain-soaked version of the camera. It's not quite as weather sealed as the Nikon cameras. Doesn't quite match the professionalism of the Nikon cameras. Image quality is A1, but we don't have that dust proofing. We don't have that weather sealing. Now the Sony one is probably going to be significantly less expensive for most people. So if you don't need all the feature set that you get with the Nikon cameras, the high-end Nikon cameras, this one might save you about $400 or $500. And right, so to finish off, we're going to take a quick look at some accessories that you might want to put together for yourself if you're using a camera that doesn't come with an accessory kit. This is the Manfrotto universal smartphone clamp. It's not obvious what it does when you first look at it, but it does hold smartphones into place. And the idea is that you put the smartphone into the clamp, and you can put a mini tripod underneath it that is sold separately. And you have a cold shoe on top, so you can put something like an LED light to improve the lighting. So it just adds a little bit of professionalism to your smartphone work. Another alternative version comes from Joby. Joby is a very great tripod manufacturer, and this one with the Joby tripod, you can use it in situations where you would not be able to use other tripods. So this one once again grips your camera and holds it in place whilst you do your random filming. It also has a cold shoe on the top, so you can add some LED lighting if you need to. Something else to consider is the lens wipes. These ones, I mean, it's just a good idea to have some of these with you. They're much easier to use than standard cloth for wiping your lenses. These are the ZEISS lens wipes. Don't go for anything inferior to these ones. And they also have a different version one for your tablets, because you shouldn't really use these ones on your tablets. And finally, a microphone, RØDE microphone. This is a compact microphone that will stick onto your camera and allow you to do some recording with decent sound quality. Guys, that is going to be it. I hope you find something useful on Amazon Prime Day. If you don't find anything on Prime Day or Prime Days, continue to take a look for the week or so after Prime, and you may actually find that you have some special offers continuing for a couple of weeks. If you haven't got Prime Day, if you haven't got Amazon Prime, you do need to get it first to be able to benefit from the discounts. I'll have a link to the Prime program. Make sure you use that one. It does help the channel. Guys, I'll see you in the next video.